Internet's down, but the airwaves are still open. Our stickman climbs into frame with a hand crank radio, a coil of wire, and a grin that says DIY or A tiny HUD floats. Frequency, S-meter, battery voltage, city noise hisses like frying bacon. Signals sparkle across a neon spectrum line. Mission: make contact without a single byte of broadband. Rule 1. Radios don't care about your data plan. Only physics will ride wavelength, bounce off buildings, and squeeze messages through rain. Calm hands, curious mind, and a wire longer than your last excuse. Start with wavelength, the ruler that all antennas secretly worship. Frequency up, wavelength down, 300 divided by MHC. Gives meters in your head. Our hero measures with arm spans and snips a quarter wave. Easy, light, surprisingly forgiving. A 2-meter band. About 50 centimeters. Short is still hello. Backpack antenna. The HUD doodles, lambda and 1/4 lambda like a friendly recipe card. Cut clean. Quimp kinder. And remember, the closer to resonance, the less your radio blushes, trying to push power into bad wire. Every antenna needs a dance partner called the ground plane, not necessarily dirt. Just a conductive mirror. On the rooftop, our stickman bolts the feed point to a cookie tin lid, don't judge, and fans out 3 radios like spaghetti with purpose. Instantly, the HUD's WR drops from angry red to okay chef. Cars, rails, AC units urban metal makes a passable mirror if you keep the feed line short and the contact clean. No ground plane, counterpoise wire counts. Physics accepts store-bought and homemade. Line of sight is the first radio superpower and the first heartbreak. Buildings eat HF like snacks, but height cures many sins. Our hero clips to a roof hatch, keeps 3 points of contact, safety first, and stands where the skyline opens like a runway. The spectrum HUD blooms. Stations wake up at the horizon. Pro tip: if you can see it, you can often reach it. If you can't, we'll bend the rules. Literally by ricocheting signals off glass, concrete, and the occasional polite water tower. Before we bounce, we listen. The spectrum HUD is a lie detector for noise. Power, supplies, wine, lead spit, chargers, burp. Our stickman dials squelch just shy of quiet and parks on a calling frequency. He logs the noise floor, think of it, as the tide level your signal must beat. A brief testing. 1-2 with minimal power proves the rig talks. We're not blasting. We're learning the room. Good radio is half reconnaissance, half kindergarten, show and tell. Time to aim with wire. The stickman stretches a quarter wave vertical on a fiberglass pole, then leans a 10 degrees from plumb, shaping the lobe toward the neighborhood he wants to reach. The HUD shows a modest nudge in pattern enough to matter. He rotates around an AC unit to try reflections. Suddenly, a dead zone wakes up as a glass facade politely hands a signal onward. Buildings are mirrors, but messy ones. Small movements redraw invisible highways. Coax is the artery, don't let it bleed. Our hero chooses the shortest run he can stand, loops a few turns near the feed point as a choke, and avoids brutal bends. Law seats HF like termites. You don't have watts, you have dB, and there's the spectrum HUD smiles, the strays vanish. If the cable warms your fingers, you've accidentally built a space heater. The cure is fatter coax or closer antenna. Physics loves diets. Less length, fewer losses. Rain arrives like static with gravity. Water detunes antennas by changing their dielectric neighborhood. The HUD's WR ticks upward. Our stickman breathes, trims the tilt, and retunes a hair. He adds a simple drip loop in the coax to deny water a free ride into the radio. For lightning risk, he clips the mast down, unplugs, and backs away. Contact can wait. Safety cannot. Storms are content. We are not the headline. Meanwhile, the hand crank fills the battery bar with petty, satisfying fury. Apartment roofs, too spicy. We try the valley edge at the city's rim. Hills block line of sight, but also grant knife edge deep. The HUD shows a faint but steady rise when the antenna nudges into the sweet spot. Our stickman marks a rock and learns a lesson. Centimeters matter. People imagine radio as magic. It's more like chess on a tilted board. We move the queen antenna 1 square. The map changes. Improvised dipole time. 2 quarter-wave legs, 1 left, 1 right, hung like a minimalist laundry line. Our hero trims each side equally, feeds in the middle, and the SWR drops into a friendly valley. Want reach? Raise the center. Want neighbor coverage? Lower it into an inverted V for a fatter pattern. He rotates the whole rig 90 degrees to taste polarization. Crossed polarization is like shouting through earplugs. Align the electric field and the S-meter stands taller. Reflections are free repeaters if you court them. The stickman faces a distant glass office block, tilts the antenna to graze the facada, and calls a station he couldn't touch directly. The signal ricochets, with a hint of ghosting. Intelligible, just sassy. The HUD paints vector arrows. Launch, bounce, arrival. He bookmarks angles like a chef notes oven racks. Next time the net control hides behind a hill, we'll bounce off downtown and arrive like we belong. Power is a currency. Spend it wisely. Hand crank gives calories per watt. The solar bank sips sun into silence. Our hero toggles low power first, listens more, talks less, and uses repeaters if available. When simplex, he keeps messages short. Location, status, ask Fiesmita. Bloom Sobata heard. The trick isn't brute, Watts! It's less loss, good geometry, and manners on the mic. The battery bar thanks him by not vanishing in dense rain. The higher frequencies sulk. Our stickman shifts down a band where droplets bully less, shortens expectations, not wires. The HUD waterfall shows fewer sparkles but clearer lanes. He aims for stations under the same cloud-shared weather equals shared propagation. He also learns the pause. During a thunder roll, he stays silent. After the rumble, the noise floor dips and weak voices emerge. Patience isn't glamorous, but it's oddly fast. Field kit organization is physics for brains. Coax coiled in big loops to avoid memory kinks. Wire labeled with color bands for lengths. Adapters bagged. Tape and ties on deck. He logs every change. Height, angle, SWR, S-meter B. Cause the one that worked today will be the one you forget tomorrow. The HUD gains a tiny clipboard icon and the world becomes people call it luck. The notes call it repeatable. Back in the city canyon, our stickman tries human scale. Drafting, he stands at a building corner where wind and RF both funnel. Metal fire escapes, lamp poles, and railings become accidental directors. He moves a step, 2 steps, watches the spectrum jump. He finds the quiet pocket where noise hides and signals stand. The antenna gets a slight lean, the mic gets a small smile, and a voice across town answers like a neighbor over a fence. Voice is great. Data can be tiny. He flips to slow, robust modes, think syllables made of bricks. Even a week! Fluttery Path can carry a short status beacon that hops station to station like friendly driftwood. The Spectrum HUD shows compact little fins instead of fat audio coral. Text crawls in. It isn't glamorous, but it travels when bravado doesn't. Emergency comms aren't novels. They're postcards that find you. Battery triage gets real at sunset. The solar bank napped all day. Now it pays rent. The hand crank tops off the handheld while the headlamp sips. He parks the radio on scan, not transmit, and uses a tiny external speaker to keep volume low, yet intelligible. He practices the ancient art of push-to-talk discipline. Think, press, speak, release. The HUD battery bar barely flinches. Energy saved today is reach tomorrow. Neighbor outreach turns radio from hobby to mesh. He hands a spare wire and a printed quarter-wave chart to an upstairs neighbor. 5 minutes later, 2 rooftops become a small net. Check-ins, every hour on the hour. Crisis updates, grocery swaps. The Spectrum HUD shows predictable pings, like a heartbeat. People don't need perfect. They need consistent. Physics gives you both, if you keep your promises to the calendar and the coax. Weather's back to Moody. He tests a mag mount on a parked car owner's permission. We're civilized. The roof becomes an excellent ground plane. The S-meter stands straighter than a librarian's spine. Mobile metal is a gift. Provided you mind clear lines and safe parking, he logs it as a rapid deploy node. When the balcony fails, the sedan sings. The umbrella from last episode? No, it's just a windbreak for the operator, not the RF. Final tweaks. Our hero ties a bright tag at the antenna's sweet height, so redeploy is automatic, adds a drip loop and strain relief that saves connectors, and prints a pocket card. Freck, call, schedule, safety. The HUD notes stabilize. The kit packs smaller. You know a system works when it takes less time every time. Radios aren't picky, they're honest. Give them length, height, and a ground to gossip with, and they'll introduce you to the world. Epilogue. City lights blink. The spectrum glows like a tiny galaxy, and a calm voice checks in from across the river. No fiber, no Wi-Fi, just old waves doing new favors. Our stickman signs off, coils the quarter wave, and leaves a note on the door. Internet down, airwaves up. The hand crank rests. The solar bank hums a quiet yes. Tomorrow, the net meets again, because physics is reliable and neighbors are the best repeaters ever invented.